This is the Gamecock Corner, brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates, your hot spot for everything you need to know about Jacksonville State football. Time to get the scoop on this week's matchup with your host, Shane Wilson, and the legendary voice of the Gamecocks, Mike Parris.
Another week in the Gamecock Corner, and we are talking about yet another Gamecock victory. 8 of them in a row now. It's brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates, and if you're listening on Facebook or YouTube, thank you, first and foremost, but also, if you have not hit those thumbs up buttons for like and follow and subscribe, depending on where you're listening, we'd very much appreciate that. Would help us out quite a bit. So now, let's talk some Gamecock football, another winning week of Gamecock football, with the voice of the Gamecocks for more than 40 years, Mike Parris. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. It was a good day Saturday.
It was indeed, and I actually had a chance to go over and see it for myself, which I always enjoy. And one thing I noticed, one thing that stood out, we talked at the beginning of the season about all the questions surrounding the defense, new coordinator, new personnel, and those first couple of games did not go so well for them, but man, they showed up big on Saturday. Talk about that.
Well, as you mentioned, new coordinator, a lot of new faces, and first 3 games of the first 2.5 games, I think we were, trying to figure some things out, learn each other, learn the system. Terminology obviously different and just a different philosophy. But second half at Eastern Michigan and then the overtime, I think something clicked at that point in time, and I thought we got better in the second half of that game and then into overtime. And it's really carried from there. We've been much better since then, and Saturday, arguably maybe the best that we've played defensively, held them to 11 points. One of the big turning points, I think, big plays or big items in the game Saturday against Sam Houston was late in the first half, we muff a punt. They recover it inside the 15-yard line. Our defense holds them to a field goal attempt. They missed the field goal, and I thought that was big because had they scored there, gotten a touchdown in particular, they got the second half kickoff as well then, so they had a chance back-to-back possessions to do some damage. And I thought the defense was really just lights out pretty much all day long. And between that and Tyler Huff taking over and controlling the offense, it's 8 wins in a row. It's been a pretty good ride at this point.
Man, has it ever. Now, again, at the beginning of the season, we were talking about some of the other questions surrounding who was going to be doing what. You had possibility of 2 quarterbacks to start the season. Tyler Huff kind of grabbed that by the horns and has really run with it. In fact, he was a Conference USA Player of the Week again, I think, this past week.
Right.
And then Trey Stewart comes from out of nowhere. So those are the 2 guys that have probably gotten most of the headlines. But in this 8-game run where the season has seen a complete turnaround, who are some of the folks that you did not see in the headlines, or maybe collective units, special teams, defense, offense? Who are some of the unsung heroes for the Gamecocks going into this final regular season game?
I think one thing that's helped this is the development of wide receiver Cam Vaughn. He's a redshirt freshman, played 3 games last year, but his development, his ability to stretch the field with our passing game, I think that has been big for the offense. And I like to call them the big uglies, those guys up front. Our offensive line has been tremendous. I hadn't talked a whole lot about them, but played well. Preseason All-American on the preseason Outland Award watch list between he and Osteen. And Davion Harley has taken over at center. We lost the start in center 3 weeks ago. Brock Roby and those guys have been great as well. So what they've done, protecting the quarterback, opening holes for our running game, I think obviously that has been huge. And then again, defensively, collectively as a whole, Fred Perry's he's our leading tackler, and Reginald Hughes, those 2 guys leading the way, Antonio Carter as well. But as a group, just their development is what's led to winning 8 in a row here and winning the conference regular season title, getting to host the conference championship game then.
Yeah, and boy, again, something that we absolutely did not see coming at the beginning of the season, but we'll take it every day of the week. Now, let's talk about the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. First of all, I hope this particular road trip part of it is relatively uneventful compared to what you experienced when you headed out to Colorado Springs a couple of weeks ago. But now, once we get there and once we play the game, tell us more about the Hilltoppers.
Very good offensively. Put up some very good numbers. P.J. Finley, Auburn fans remember him. LSU fans remember him. Quarterback at both places, made stops there. Was at Texas State last year, so he transferred to Western Kentucky for his final season. He gets hurt week 2 of the season. He started against Alabama if you go back to week 1, but he got hurt. And then a guy that had played one game back in 22 and only played in 3 games last year, Caden Veldkamp, becomes their starting quarterback. He was the MVP of their bowl game last year. They had one of the, I think, the 4th largest comeback in bowl game history last year, coming from behind to beat Old Dominion. He was the guy that keyed that. Well, he takes over then when Finley goes down, and he's been so good that Finley hadn't been able to get back in the lineup. He is the guy. He's thrown for close to, I think, to 3,000 yards, and he also can run it. I'm not sure he's like Tyler Huff, but he has been very good. He's their second leading rusher, so it all starts with him at quarterback. But they have been able to move the football on just about everybody. They have given up some points, so hopefully our offense can take advantage of that with their defensive unit.
All right. Well, pregame from Bowling Green happens at 2 o'clock on Saturday. At 3 o'clock, right, they'll kick it off against Western Kentucky, and we'll be talking about it 1 week from today in the Gamecock Corner. So, Mike, thanks for the analysis, and we'll talk with you again next week.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time. Go Gamecock.
Gamecock Corner brought to you each week by Randy Jones and Associates.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones, your hometown trusted choice insurance agency. Randy Jones and Associates knows the playing field, and we have been proudly serving communities across North Alabama for 46 years. Having the right protection on the field is important. The RJA team of experienced agents will help you find affordable, customized insurance coverage for your family, business, and future. Stop by a local Randy Jones Associates office for a free, no-obligation quote or complimentary policy review.
Join us next week for the Gamecock Corner, brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates, a production of WKXX Sports.